Welcome to the SOM drone field and software training. In the first section of this training, we're going to do drone flight basics. Let's look at the drone background. You get different types of UAVs. From quadcopters, fixed wings, VTOLs are the most modern solutions. But I think most of our surveyors look at cost. And when you look at cost, you're going to look to something like a consumer drone, which DJI has got the market lead in. When we look at quadcopters, they are much more wind resistant, but their flight times are much lower. If you look at a fixed wing, the wind resistance is not that great, but your flight time is much higher. So depending on the type of survey that you'll encounter will depend on the type of drone that you'll use. For large scale areas, a fixed wing is always your best drone to use, and for smaller areas, your quadcopters is definitely your best. Especially if you want to do 3D modeling of houses and external buildings on your site, your quadcopters are definitely the best route to go, because you can do a circulation of your object, and that will allow you to get great coverage on that specific object to allow for optimal 3D modeling. A quadcopter is a multi-rotor drone. So what it means, it's got usually 4 propellers that propel the drone upwards and into a certain direction. On a fixed wing, you've got 1 motor normally, and that just propels your drone forward. What this also means is that on your fixed wing drones, you'll have to launch it manually, either by hand or by a pulley. When you're looking at a multicopter, what this allows you is to take off under any circumstances, any terrain. So it's much more mobile, and you don't really need a clear space for landing. You can land your quadcopter on the exact point we have taken off. Going into price difference, the big major price difference is that fixed wings are very costly, whereas your multicopters such as DJI Phantom 4 is a very low cost consumer product. The price difference can be anything from $10,000 versus the Phantom 4, which is about $1,500. So the price difference is pretty big, and depending on your type of terrain and your survey field, I would definitely suggest going for the multi-rotor such as the DJI Phantom 4. Let's talk about different types of cameras. There are 2 main different types of cameras. The one camera is built into your drone solution, and the one is an external camera, which means you take it out, and when you want to use that specific drone or UAV, you place the camera back inside, and it connects normally on a hot shoe adapter. When you're working with the Phantom 4, you're working on an internal camera, Mavic 2 internal camera. Most of your consumer drones do have internal cameras. The great news is that in today's time, the internal cameras is more than sufficient for what you want to do. Another positive thing of an internal camera is the fact that your data outputs the pitch, roll and yaw of your data, which allows for optimal 3D processing. Let's look at different payloads. The main and only payload that I would suggest that you put on a DJI consumer drone is a PPK system. For your bigger enterprise solution drones such as the Matrice 200 to the Matrice 1000, you can add additional external cameras with LiDAR units, so you can create colorized point clouds, whereas with your consumer drones it's very limited to 1 single camera, but still giving you accurate data. On your bigger drones, because you can mount a LiDAR unit is ground penetration, which means you can get much more accurate data on the ground. It penetrates trees depending on the different types of beams on your LiDAR system. But the good news is, for most of the surveying type of work that we do, you do not need external payloads, as your normal photogrammetry can be done with a Phantom 4, a Mavic 2, which is just normal consumer drones. A quick word on regulations. The FAA regulations differ in each and every country, so it's your responsibility to go look up the FAA regulations in your country.